Hey, now we're going to look at the Arch of Triumph, which was erected in London, April the 19th, this year. And this is kind of old news. I just wanted to go through some Bible verses to show the importance of this event. So you might remember that the Palmyra Arch replica is unveiled in Trafalgar Square in London. It was April 19th. And if you don't know, then this is from all the way back 2000 years ago when pagans used to worship Baal, who is a false god and links to Satan and the fallen angels. And I just want to show you some scriptures from the Bible to prove this. Okay, so let's look at Revelation 9, and that says, "And the fifth angel sounded, and I saw a star fall from heaven unto earth, and to him was given the key of the bottomless pit, and he opened the bottomless pit, and there arose a smoke out of the pit, as the smoke of a great furnace, and the sun and the air were darkened by reason of the smoke of the pit. And there came out of the smoke locusts upon the earth, and unto them was given power, as the scorpions of the earth has power." Now this means spirits. Obviously the locusts refer to spirits, and the spirits will torment people on this planet. And I believe that the arches that are about to go up are closely linked to these spirits being let loose on the planet. Check out what Mamoun Abdul Karim says here on BBC, which is about the same thing, Palmyra's Arch of Triumph recreated in London, where the mayor of London unveils this arch. So this guy says, "It is a message of raising awareness in the world. We have common heritage. Our heritage is universal. It is not just for Syrian people." So he's talking about that this is our common heritage, which is a satanic Baal worship arch as our common heritage. And he stressed further, "We can never have the same image as before ISIS. We are trying to be realistic, but what we want to do is respect the scientific method and the identity of Palmyra as a historic site. So we are honoring a satanic relic, which is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, actually. So that should really alarm everybody, because this means that what we knew all along is that UNESCO, United Nations, and pretty much all the world leaders are involved in this satanic Baal worship. And again, how this relates to the Bible, you can see it from Revelation 17, which says, "The beast that thou sawest was, and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit, and go into perdition. And they that dwell on the earth shall wonder, whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world, when they behold the beast that was, and is not, and yet is." Meaning millions, if not billions of people are cheerful for these arches going up, not understanding the true meaning of this. Now, we are here, bibliotecapleiades.net, and I wanted to show you something in regards to April 19th and the period until May the 1st, which is a 13-day period, and that is the blood sacrifice to the beast. And the arches are going up, or that arch on Trafalgar Square went up April 19th, which is the start of that period. So fire sacrifice is required on April 19th, which is the first day of a 13-day satanic ritual period relating to fire, the fire god Baal, Molech, Nimrod, the sun god, also known as the Roman god Saturn, Satan, devil. Right? This day is a major human sacrifice day, demanding fire sacrifice with an emphasis on children. This day is one of the most important human sacrifice days, and as such has had some very important historic events occur on this day. Now, to find some of those, we're going to jump onto 5doves.com, and here you can find a list of events that occurred on this day. Check out some of them: Battle of Lexington and Concord. And after that, the Great Fire of Toronto in 1904, 1906, the San Francisco Earthquake Fire. 36, April 19th, biggest military strength show since World War I. Germany pays homage to Hitler with a show of 300 tanks. And then you can see loads of other things here. 83 April, 20th of April in 83, there was an explosion in Baghdad, killing and injuring a large number of people. 84, Good Friday Massacre in Montreal, Canada, and so on, so on. 95, Oklahoma City bombing, fire and death. Then, yeah, Columbine, 99, the so-called school massacre. 2010, Iceland's volcanic ash grounds all airlines in Northern Europe, while NATO conducts the largest military exercise of that year. Same year, one day later, Gulf oil fire. On April 20th, the birthday of Adolf Hitler. So these are all the events occurring on that particular day. Now I want to show you something from the Bible about Baal, the arches and the Baal worship. This is Jeremiah 19th chapter, and we're going to look at 4 verse onwards. Because they have forsaken me, and have estranged this place, and have burned incense in it unto their gods, whom neither they nor their fathers have known, nor the kings of Judah, and have filled this place with the blood of innocents. They have built also the high places of Baal, to burn their sons with fire for burnt offerings unto Baal, which I commanded not, nor spake it, neither came it to my mind. Therefore behold, the days come, saith the Most High, that this place shall no more called Tophet, nor the valley of the son of Hinnom, but the valley of slaughter. Now you see, that's Baal, and that's the arches erected on Trafalgar Square and Times Square and all over the world, honoring this god Baal. Now if you go to Jeremiah 12, you can see in the 15th verse, and it shall come to pass after that I have plucked them out, I will return. It's talking about Israel, and God forsaken Israel, and have compassion on them, and will bring them again, every man to his heritage, every man to his land. It's talking about these the Most High bringing Israel back together, the 12 tribes. And it shall come to pass, if they will diligently learn the ways of my people, to swear by my name, the Most High liveth, and they taught my people to swear by Baal, then shall they be built in the midst of my people. But if they will not obey, I will utterly pluck them and destroy that nation, saith the Lord. So this is Israel learning this Baal worship from pagans, and most likely from the very beginning, since it refers to Nimrod, and later on all the Babylonians and so on. So these are false gods. Baal is Satan, but also this word refers to all the fallen ones from the Bible and the watchers, the angels that sinned and got cast down to earth. And if we go back to Revelation 18 and go to second verse, we can see that I believe the arches have a major role in these last days to let loose all the spirits, as I mentioned earlier. So check this out in Revelation. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and the cage of every unclean and hateful bird. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. And that Babylon is the United States of America these days. This is pretty obvious. That's the only place which made the whole world drunk with the wine of her fornication. And you can understand that that wine is the American dollar and business success and greed that comes out of that country, and got the whole world drunk, including the kings of the earth, who are at the moment mainly Europe and the Middle East, China, Russia, and Latin America. But pretty much all the rulers and the governments are depending on the United States, which is about to fall apart, because it become the habitation of everything that God hates. Check out some more verses about Baal though. So Numbers 25, and they called the people unto the sacrifices of their gods, and the people did eat and bow down to their gods. And Israel joined himself unto Baal Peor. And the anger of the Lord was kindled against Israel, and the Most High said unto Moses, Take all the heads of the people, and hang them up before the Most High against the sun, that the fierce anger of the Most High may be turned away from Israel. Now, that's pretty severe, I suppose, if that's the punishment. And you can see that in Kings, 2 Kings 17, and they left all the commandments of the Most High, their power, and made them molten images, even 2 calves, and made a grove, and worshipped all the hosts of heaven, and served Baal, and they caused their sons and their daughters to pass through the fire, and used divination and enchantments, and sold themselves to do evil in the sight of the Lord, to provoke him to anger. And here you can see those enchantments and divinations, which is witchcraft, sorcery. On BBC.com, witchcraft child abuse cases investigated by Met rise by over 50%, and this is May 16th. The number of child abuse cases involving witchcraft that were dealt with by the Met has risen by over 50% in 3 years, the force has revealed. Jeremiah, the 2nd chapter, says, "The pastors also transgressed against me, and the prophets prophesied by Baal, and walked after things that do not profit." Now I want to show you something about the things that do not profit. This is here crusaderjournal.com, and there's going to be this ex-witch, Beth, who has some fascinating things to say about hidden magic, astrology, supernatural powers or agencies, also known as the occult, which has slithered its way into society with little fanfare. And she will talk about things like some of these items. And she says these are including horoscopes, fortune telling, contacting the dead, speaking to the dead, Ouija boards, chakras, channeling energy, yoga, and incantations, among others. Now she says, quote, "When each time they do witchcraft, they are inviting in demon spirits. Each spirit brings something in with it to connect them within your person. This could be false beliefs or sickness or addiction, etc. More importantly, it causes you to feel that you have tapped into a power, which you have, the power of the demonic, aka the occult or witchcraft. You feel the power in some way or another. It may be a high, a surge, a force, an awakening, or something similar. This feeling is incredibly satisfying to our senses and fleshly ways, and it creates a desire within us to continue to do it. So the person wants to delve deeper into the witchcraft practice to reach higher levels of this power they have experienced. And remember, this is an ex-witch talking about horoscope, fortune telling, contacting the dead, speaking to the dead, Ouija boards, chakras, channeling energy, yoga, incantations. Now you understand why the big push for yoga and meditation and spiritualism. Because they want these spirits already out there. They want you to allow them into your soul and into your body, and they can use. And you can see how, because Beth describes it, quote, "What is actually happening is they are granting more and more access to the depths of their soul, to the demonic, giving them more and more rights into them. Rights are permissions to use our bodies for their works and feed our soul with their beliefs and demonic spirits. Satan wants us to become portals for his evil work. Once give him access, we are connected to his power, and he sets up things inside of us that can work without our conscious knowledge. So basically we are actually doing witchcraft and we are not even aware of it. The connection has been made, and we have done it on our own free will." End quote. The Most High says in Deuteronomy 18 about all this, in a 10th verse, "There shall not be found among you
anyone that maketh his son or his daughter pass through the fire, or that useth divination, or an observer of times, which is astrology, or an enchanter, or a witch, or a charmer, or a consulter with familiar spirits, or a wizard, or a necromancer, which is speaking to the dead. For all that do these things are an abomination unto the Most High, and because of these abominations, the Most High, thy power, does drive them out from before thee. I think that's pretty straightforward. So now you can link the spirits all the way to back to Baal worship, and how that is just simply against the laws of the Most High God of the Bible. And what's strange is that truly the Bible has all the answers, because these people who are into now this yoga, spirituality, meditation, and all these kind of new age thing do look like they prosper, and they do look successful in this world, at least most of them. But this is nothing new. This has happened, and in Acts 8th chapter, in the 8th verse, you can read about it. And there was great joy in that city, but there was a certain man called Simon, which before time in the same city used sorcery, and bewitched the people of Samaria, giving out that himself was some great one, to whom they all gave heed, from the least to the greatest, saying, This man is the great power of the Most High. You see, this describes beautifully the current situation. Now we know sorcery and witchcraft is nothing else but meditation, yoga, enchantment, chakra, and all these Eastern mysticism things. And that has always been against the Most High God of the Bible. Now, how much this is real and how accepted this is by society, and more so how much this has infected the world. Check this out. This is from Peru. Now these girls in this school, they have been playing with witchcraft and invoke these demons, and then after that there were sightings of black figures with beard, and these girls experienced that them being strangled and suffocated. And as you see, there's true agony going on there. Okay, this is enough of this. This story actually made it to the mainstream, and in dailymail.co.uk you can read about this. 80 children treated in hospital after outbreak of demonic possession in Peruvian school, where pupils say they had visions of a man in black trying to kill them. Scores of children at a school in Peru have suffered seizures and describe visions of a man in black trying to kill them in what locals say was a mass case of demonic possession. And we saw that in the video. Now, Dozens of youngsters have been experiencing the supposedly contagious condition since it was first reported in April, and these children aged between 11 and 14 are reportedly fainting and having strong muscular convulsions. Locals believe this is a case of demonic interference, saying some children must have played games that invoke demons, such as using a Ouija board. A Ouija board is marked with letters and numbers, and some use it in the belief that they will be able to communicate with souls of the dead. Now, in 1 Samuel 15, it goes on to say, "For rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft, and stubbornness is as iniquity and idolatry. Because thou hast rejected the word of the Most High, he hath also rejected thee from being king." This is to Samuel, he's saying that. But as you see, for rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft, and stubbornness is as iniquity and idolatry. So these people are rebellious. And who was the greatest rebel? We all know that from the Bible. And it ties back beautifully into Satan and Baal. In Isaiah, you can read 14th chapter 13th verse. "For thou hast said in thy heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of the Most High. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation, in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the height of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit." Now that's the ultimate rebellion, and that is Satan, Lucifer, who rules this world right here where we are. And if we go back to Jeremiah to read about the arches and the demonic possession, we can see in Jeremiah 23, 13th verse, "They prophesied in Baal and caused my people Israel to err. I have seen also in the prophets of Jerusalem a horrible thing. They commit adultery and walk in lies. They strengthen also the hands of evildoers, that none doth return from his wickedness. They are all of them unto me as Sodom, and the inhabitants thereof as Gomorrah." And I want to show you something about Sodom and Gomorrah. When we talk about immorality according to the Bible and how the United States is Babylon, then you're gonna have to see how this goes back to Sodom and Gomorrah. The US tells schools to give transgender students bathroom rights. This is 13th of May, when you have all gender restrooms. The Obama administration told US public schools on Friday that transgender students must be allowed to use the bathroom of their choice, upsetting Republicans and raising the likelihood of fights over federal funding and legal authority. Now, the schools who do not obey risk losing funds. So now this vile agenda went into straight out blackmailing schools to let anyone into any bathroom. So this here, you talking about society that has completely turned away from God and the Most High's laws, statutes, and commandments. And I want to show you some shocking pictures as well. Real quick about Sodom and Gomorrah, you can read Genesis 19, but I just want to show you something. "But before they lay down, the men of the city, even the men of Sodom,
compassed the house round, both old and young, all the people from every quarter. Now this is after two angels visit Lot, and some of these men discover that. And they called unto Lot, and said unto him, Where are the men which came into thee this night? Bring them out unto us, that we may know them. Now, I think this is the kind of, we may know them, that's obviously referring to sexual intercourse. So this is the kind of mindset I think the LGBT movement and through these spirits that being let loose and the temple of Baal has a major role to play in it. But in general, I think immorality caused the downfall of our society, and this is why we are in the end days, because the society is run by lawless people, and in general lawlessness. We make our own laws, and when you look at pictures like this, then you can totally understand why the Most High turned away from society in general, because men dress up like women and women dress up like men, and this has pretty much the whole support of the whole society, and it's just baffling how low can people go when men marry men, women marry women, and in general there are no moral laws anymore, and pretty much we're living in a society where everything goes. I think this is beautifully described in Romans when Paul goes on to say in the 22nd verse, professing themselves to be wise, they became fools, and changed the glory of the uncorruptible Most High into an image made like to corruptible man, to birds, and four-footed beasts, and creeping things. You can see the creeping things right in front of your eyes. And people still do not get it. People still don't understand this. The idolatry. They're coming straight out of the Vatican. The gold, the silver, the riches, the idols. Right? So let's go back. Wherefore God also gave them up to uncleanness through the lust of their own hearts, to dishonor their own bodies between themselves, who changed the truth of the Most High into a lie, and worshipped and served the creature more than the Creator, who is blessed forever. Amen. I suppose this is when it's talking about dishonoring their own body between themselves, but and lawlessness, and in general immorality, when everything goes. And this is not against these people. These people are possessed by spirits that being let loose and are being let loose. And you got these fools getting involved to just spread this immorality further and further. And he carries on in Romans first. 1. For this cause God gave them up unto vile affections, for even their women did change the natural use of that which is against nature, and likewise also the men, leaving the natural use of the woman, burn in their lust one toward another, man with man, working that which is unseemly, and receiving themselves that recompense of their error which was meet. And even as they did not like to retain the Most High in their knowledge, the Most High gave them over to a reprobate mind, to do those things which are not convenient, being filled with all unrighteousness, fornication, wickedness, covetousness, maliciousness, full of envy, murder, debate, deceit, malignity, whisperers, backbiters, haters of the Most High, despiteful, proud, boasters, inventors of evil things, disobedient to parents, without understanding, covenant breakers, without natural affection, implacable, unmerciful, who knowing the judgment of the Most High, they which commit such things are worthy of death, not only do the same, but have pleasure in them that do them. It is very difficult not to draw a comparison to from that verse to these pictures when you're talking about lawlessness and rebellion and reprobate mind and sin. I'd like to finish with 2 Timothy, the 3rd chapter, because I think we are living in the last days. There's no question about that. And how can you recognize it? This where Paul is giving you the description. This know also, that in the last days perilous times shall come, for men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, without natural affection, truce breakers, false accusers, incontinent, fierce, despisers of those that are good, traitors, heady, high-minded, lovers of pleasures more than lovers of the Most High, having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof. From such turn away. See, these are those that have a form of godliness, and all that follow the prosperity movement, all that think that life is about riches, prosperity, happiness, and fulfilling all your desires. If you think that, you fall into that category where he says that lovers of pleasures more than lovers of the Most High, having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof. From such turn away. And no wonder why. So, with this, I would like to close this video and hope that it helped to understand the connection from the arches all the way to this vile attack on morality, which is the false teachers, and from then on pretty much everything that is godly is under attack, even the gender and children. So the way out is putting on the armor of righteousness through studying the Bible, repenting, and getting ready for judgment that is coming pretty sure. Blessings, and speak to you soon.